And I know a lot of people don't have all the streaming services. I know a lot of people don't have all the DSPs that give you opportunity to watch all of the WWE content. That is what you got Dominating Impulse here for. I am here to keep you guys plugged in with all the storylines. I am here to keep you guys plugged in with all the heat and the activity around the things that we love. If you watch up to this portion of the video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and comment because I am one of the few people that drops weekly and daily wrestling content. So let's get into the heat. And I'm going to do a week in review of last week's Raw, last week's NXT, and I'm also going to be talking about last week's SmackDown. We had a birthday in the family this week. Shout out Hola mi amor, como feliz cumpleaños. Happy birthday. So we were doing some birthday celebrations with the fam. With that being said, we're going to get back into some content because that's what y'all are here for. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I don't hate Cody Rhodes standing on business. Let's just put that out there. I don't hate Cody Rhodes coming out there and be like, yo, whoever want to take the shot at the throne, I am here. I'm walking out, standing tall like the G that I am. If y'all want to take a shot at the throne, if y'all want to take a shot at the big dog, let me know. I'm here for it. Now, last week on SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton gets the dub, gets reinserted back into that main state, gets reinserted back into that picture and that title push. The question I got to ask the world, the question I got to ask the streets, the question I got to ask the people, you know what I mean? This is what I got to ask. What's going to happen next with Tiffany? What is going to happen next with Tiffany? Who are they going to insert? They just cut everybody. The U.S. women's title runs are kind of boring and forgettable. Is Tiffany going to be the star to make this something into a storyline that we are all invested in? Pay attention for that. Also with Becky Lynch on Raw. Who's going to step up and insert herself into a feud with Becky Lynch to be a Intercontinental Champion? Is it going to be Sol Ruka, who's been called up from NXT, who got her NXT send-off last week, took a crazy shot going through the table, closed the storyline, one of the longest storylines on NXT. Speaking of NXT, Fatal Attraction taking the main stage. So who was going to step up against Tiffany Stratton? It's going to be one of the ladies from Fatal Attraction, JC Jane, Fallon Hunley, Lash Legend, made her WrestleMania debut. Maybe, she might venture up into some solo action because I don't believe in any capacity on either brand of Raw or SmackDown they care about tag team division, women's or men's. Let me know if you agree with that. 1 for, yes, they care about men's division tag team. 2 for, they don't care about men's or women's at all. The tag team division is dead on arrival. All right, but so Tiff took the title on SmackDown. Now let's talk about it because I know a lot of people seen the title card. I know a lot of people seen the thumbnail. But I see a lot of stuff that's not the bloodline. The Bloodline Civil War is very important for a few different reasons. If you guys go back to when they first introduced Solo and main event Jey Uso was crashing out, why did y'all bring Solo here? You feel me? Remember that? We never really investigated why they brought Solo here. I think we need to get deep dive into that. I really don't like the main push they're giving Jacob, though. 2 weeks removed from Backlash, 2 weeks removed for Roman, and a 5-star classic. Does Jacob have the ability to even put on that style of match? I mean, we've seen what he did with Jey Uso in the Solo, I think, in Survivor Series a couple years ago. It was not bad. It wasn't bad, but I don't know if everybody in the bloodline has that ability to put on that 5-star symphony like CM Punk did. You know what I mean? Now, Sami Zayn, well, we're recapping SmackDown as well as talking about the bloodline as well, ladies and gentlemen. Sami Zayn is not done with Trick Williams. I love how they're pushing him full heel. I love exactly the heat he is getting. Remember, just because you're getting booed, that doesn't mean necessarily it's a bad thing. Just like JC Jane, when she stepped up, we'll get to that, against Rhea Ripley, and the crowd kind of tried to hijack her promo. She embraced it. Sami Zayn is one of the few people who has the ability to properly embrace being a face or a heel, and he wears being a heel very well. So shout out to Sami Zayn and the gingerbread gimmick. We're gonna see what that fallout with Trick Williams. I'm glad they called off the open challenge because that did not need to be inserted for a star that you were developing. I do think he needs a little more repetitions on the mic. I do think he needs to get his writing a little bit tight, but Trick Williams is right there for that that push through the invisible ceiling. That's just my personal opinion. Now, NXT stars, Fatal Influence, got called up to the main roster. And this is when I told people, and I've always told people, I've always said, by the way, I personally think SmackDown isn't a better show, star power. It's a better watch as a wrestling fan. SmackDown is a better watch as a wrestling fan. It doesn't have the star power, but as a wrestling fan, how it's formatted, how it fits, you got to go with SmackDown and them infusing these young stars from the NXT division. Again, I've been saying, shout out Shawn Michaels. Like I say, we just got these three. Fatal Influence. You got Trick Williams. You got Oba. You got Sol Ruka. You got Ethan Page. That NXT roster and class is going to make PLEs and moments that we talk about for years to come. 1 for yes and 2 for no. I'll die on that hill. So, yeah. Fatal Attraction took the heat, embraced the heat, worked very well in the ring with Rhea Ripley. I did not hate anything about that moment or action. That's why I kind of, if you see on the scorecard right here, I gave SmackDown an 8.5. Just because if you take away the ads, TKO, read the room. I don't know if y'all know this. TKO is not trying to read the room. If you take away the ads, SmackDown is a very enjoyable product. I think if you take away the commercials and actually let us see some wrestling, Netflix has a very good product as well. I think we're in an era where we're watching more commercials that happen to feature wrestling. But SmackDown, I think, from a setup and production aspect, it is still the better show for wrestling fans. Fatal Attraction stole the show. And there was a lot of good moments on this week's SmackDown as well. Danhausen. I love Danhausen. Shout out. We got a video that is breaking him down as well because he is one of the main new stars that is coming to the wrestling scene on the main stage from the indies, worked his way up. Top 3 merch seller of WrestleMania. So let's do it. Top 3 merch seller, Danhausen, from WrestleMania 42, behind CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. It comes down to this. Do not overrun this gimmick, WWE. Do not overwork this gimmick, WWE. This is something that's natural. This is something that's organic. This is something that the fans like. Danhausen and The Miz, who's doing an amazing job. I think he's the only person who can work with him in this type of role. I love that vignettes. We're starting to get a lot more Danhausen. Let's dial him back. Let's keep that mystique going. That's just my personal opinion, but I love everything about Danhausen. Was probably the wild card from SmackDown. And people keep saying SmackDown is trash. I don't think you're watching SmackDown because if you go watch Raw, I get it, it's Netflix. And then compared to SmackDown as a wrestling fan, SmackDown, even in the last year, ups and downs, is just from a production aspect, has been the better show. That's just Impulse's personal opinion. Shout out to Danhausen. I don't want to be cursed. R-Truth. R-Truth is a champ. Damian Priest is a champ. Tag champs. Rhea Ripley is a champ. I seen a tweet that said we are running back a version of the Judgment Day. Now, that's all tongue in cheek. What I'm going to keep asking, between the men's and women's division on Raw or SmackDown, does TKO have a plan on what they want to do with the tag team division? I don't know who's a rival. I don't know who has bonds. What story are we going to tell with the tag team division, or we are totally eradicating it from TV? Are we only keeping it on NXT? Let me know. 1 for yes and 2 for no if you have thoughts and comments on 1 for keep it, 2 for just scrap it because we're not even getting good tag matches anymore. No suit for you. Exactly. No suit for you. Shout out R-Truth and Damian Priest, by the way. Cody Rhodes. I don't hate that he stood on business. I don't hate that he's there on this SmackDown. I question why Randy Orton isn't there if Cody Rhodes is the one who took the beating. Especially took the ass kicking night one on WrestleMania, came back Raw, following up WrestleMania, and did SmackDown. So where's Randy Orton? I'm working on a deep dive video of all the releases this week, right? Aleister Black and his wife, Zelina Vega, have been released. It is reported that he was supposed to be in the storyline with Randy Orton for WrestleMania. So now we got to ask, what are they doing with Cody Rhodes? Are we just going to get CM Punk shifting from Roman to Cody? CM Punk has earned his right to always be in the main title picture, but what story are we now going to tell with Cody Rhodes is the question that people have to ask, because you guys did a terrible job at closing his story or giving any direction. You know what I mean? That's my personal opinion. Maybe it's time y'all go heel with Cody Rhodes. 1 for yes, you agree. 2 for no. Comment below. Maybe it's time y'all go heel with Cody Rhodes. That is just my personal opinion. And like I say, Tiff is getting the belt. She's getting the gold. I like that. Let's get a good women's push. Let's shift over to the bloodline before we close out this segment of the stream, and then I'm going to take an intermittent break. Let's talk about what is next for the bloodline, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to push the Usos back into the tag team division just so we can get good matches? I would not hate that, but then that goes against what the tribal chief is saying. Your main event, Uso. Jacob Fatu is 2-0 at WrestleMania. Let's put on phenomenal matches. Are we going to revisit the portion of the story that said it's a reason why we stay away from him? And I quote from Jey Uso. You know what I mean? Are we going to revisit that? There's so many layers to this that need to be asked. I haven't even mentioned Solo and the rest of the MFT. There's a great portion of SmackDown that I totally blanked, and that's Royce Keys. You know, we'll do that in our other recap. But like, what's gonna happen with this bloodline, B? You feel me? What's gonna happen with Jacob in a match? Is he can he do the dance? Is this a coming out party? The bloodline storyline is either gonna be total chaos, which might sell merch and get talking points and get clicks and impressions from people like me, or it is going to be a total and utter failure. I get it. I know people are over the bloodline. You got it running back with Roman. Let me ask y'all a question. Can the bloodline storyline 2.0 actually succeed in 2026? 1 for yes and 2 for no. Comment below. So, before we close the SmackDown, Raw, NXT, WWE Weekly Review, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to leave y'all with this. Remember, with everything that's going on in the world, the budget cuts, these people still have to have a job to do, and they got families to feed, and they're going out here performing, and they're giving us the best they can. Cherish that while you can. If we go back to the scorecard, to close this video, I give Raw at 8.2 post WrestleMania. I give NXT an 8.0 post WrestleMania, and I give SmackDown an 8.5 out of 10, all out of 10. Now, we are starting the road to WrestleMania with a total roster reset. Let's see if we can get some good stories. Let's see if we can finish some stories. Let's see if we can build on some stories. If you watched up until this point, if you're watching this clip, my name is Dominated Impulse, and we do weekly reactionary videos on the WWE Universe. Till next time, King of the Podcast, Casual Gamer, the Contrarian, tap in. Let's be great. Let's be great. That's all I got, man. That's all I got, JJ. I wasn't going to give y'all no timeout today.